they got the rebound back, and that really hurt us. So got to give them credit. They waited a long time for this to play in the tournament, and they deserve a lot of credit. They were the better basketball team.
Rick, you spoke a lot about picking up the pace. What prevented you from being able to do that?
I didn't speak a lot about it. You guys spoke about it. I said, we're going to try to play fast, but if you listen to the shows, I said, you're not going to get them to play fast. Nobody's been able to. We did everything we could, except we didn't rebound. So
that call down the stretch, they were granted the timeout. How much are you still down?
It was a bad call, but look, there are a lot of bad calls in the game. You know, you look at West Virginia, they got the bad call. And I mean, no one says we're going to definitely win the game, but it was a very poor call because I just watched it in my office. And you know, the other two officials, I said, just ask them for help. They saw the play. He heard the coach say timeout and called it. I just said, just ask the other two. So those other two guys, it was a completely loose ball. There was no possession. But, you know, the other thing that we didn't do, you know, Peyton was worried about Collins, and I gave up a shot in the corner, and that's just as big a play.
Seemed to turn them over quite a bit, but didn't get a whole lot of points out of that. What were they doing to stop that?
They're a good basketball team. They're a really good basketball team. They were better than us. Simple as that. There's no strategy I can give you, but except that they were better on this given night.
What is so difficult offensively for you guys these last 2 games?
Who's talking? I can't see you. Whispering. Anybody else have a question? Anybody? You okay?
You mind answering that, Coach?
No, I'm not answering.
Coach, any pluses to take away from this game?
You know, look, at Senior night it hurts, but, you know, Shane started doing some really good things, and he went to his crab dribble. You know, it's like Gorky got the same offensive foul on it that they called on him. And I happen to think they were both charges, the one that Gorky did and the other guy did. I thought they were both charges in that. But if it's one way, it's got to be the other way in that situation. But, you know, they basically, and they do it to everybody, they slough off, they play inside, and they say, go ahead and shoot it, make shots. And we didn't. So I'm going to try to get Angel ready, even though he makes a lot of mistakes. I've got to get him ready going into this tournament because I do need another shooter in the game. Got to teach Kyle a little bit to play the two, and I've got to get Angel ready to play. He has looked a little bit better in practice. Just got to get him mentally thinking of the things he has to do.
Rick, it seemed like they got a lot of shots like in the middle part of the zone. Was that something that you were kind of conceding to them?
No, not really. I think that, see, the way you play that is you stay off of Collins, and we kept worrying about Collins, just like the three-point shooter. Kyle had to play the guy inside, and Peyton is standing there guarding Collins. He's supposed to guard the corner three-point shot. That was just as important as the bad call on the floor.
With the way the game was called, kind of loose, allowing physical play, was that an advantage for them in this type of game?
No, I don't think it was. I just think they made some poor calls, you know, down the stretch. But it's magnified that game. You know, you're down 3 at your ball and could be down 1. But we also, look, we missed a wide open dunk. I think it was 3 also, wasn't it, at that point?
40.
I mean, nobody's there. It's a two-handed wide open dunk. So be down 1 there as well.
Are there any other things besides playing Angel, you've thought of moving forward to create more offense?
I think, look, it's, you know, in these slow-down games, every possession's monumental. And they had guys that made shots, and we had guys other than Chris Smith that didn't make shots. So it's going to come down to, you know, it's always been that way. If you have shooters on the perimeter, they're going to knock down the shots. If you don't have shooters on the perimeter, it's going to be difficult to make shots. You know, Russ Smith is good in a wide open game. He's not a good spot-up shooter. He's not a good three-point shooter. And, you know, if it is a fast game, you can play a Russ. If it's not a fast game, you got to go with an Angel.
In previous games on tape that you watched them, were they always as disciplined with even in the press when they would break it, unless they had the shot?
Yeah, well, that's why they play. If you look at their last 5 or 6 games, they're all low-scoring games. And, you know, even on the road, as well as at home, low-scoring games, Seton Hall and teams that like to run. And they're veterans, too. They're a veteran basketball team, so they have a freshman point guard who really is a good thinker as well. Doesn't play like a freshman. You know, he's the best freshman point guard I've seen mentally in quite some time, because he doesn't rattle. He understands what to do.
Anything else for Coach?
Thank you.